I was a senior in high school, and where I live you can choose to go during the day or at night, called night school. I chose night school because I was a teenager that hated waking up early. I went to work during the day, but I worked at a local law firm and could go in and leave whenever I pleased. I should also add that my family has done some remodeling in this house, tore down walls, added new ones, gutted the whole kitchen and bathroom and built again. Anyway, I had a terrible headache that day, so I didn't go into work that morning, and I was laying in bed, sleeping on my back, with a pillow over my face because it's bright in my room. I hear my door open and it sort of wakes me up. I continue laying there because I'm still half asleep and I don't care enough to take the pillow off my face. Then I feel pressure on my stomach like someone is poking me with 2 or 3 fingers, which makes me twitch pretty hard, and it's like whatever poked me. Notice something living was under the covers and needed to get out, so I hear footsteps. I live in an old house and we have creaky hardwood floors. So if this was a human, I would hear creaking from the weight on the wood floors. But they don't creak or sound like footsteps. It sounds like pitter-patter. The noise clearly goes out of my room and my door slams shut. So now I'm fully awake and I think my mom is home for lunch and she's clearly the one that came in my room and poked me. Actually, I was kinda pissed she slammed my door when she knew I had a headache. I go to check my phone and realize it's only 10 a.m. My mom's lunchtime isn't until 12. I called my mom and asked her if she was just in the house. She said, "No, I'm still at work." "Why?" I tell her what happened, and she tells me to walk around the house with our dog named Detroit. Some background on him: he was a guard dog and he was mean as hell and huge. My stepdad poured concrete and would take him to work with him, but he had to keep him chained up to his truck because everyone was scared of him. His nickname was Destroyer. He was my best friend, and he always stole my sandwiches. So I know that if this was a person Detroit didn't know, basically he would have already attacked him. Back to the story, I apparently grew up in that time and walked around the house with Bubba. He didn't seem freaked out, no one was in there, so I called back and said I didn't see anything. But as I'm sitting there, the realization of what just happened and the weird footsteps start to sink in, and I'm getting all kinds of weird, creepy vibes. So I'm sitting in my room, starting to panic out of nowhere, and my door slowly opens. Basically, I get out of there through a different door that goes outside. Almost immediately once I get outside, I feel better and can start to breathe again. I call my mom back, tell her what happened, and she comes home to look through the house with me. She gets there, we're standing in the living room, and the door handle on one of the doors going to a closet starts to jiggle very violently. Obviously, we leave. I go to my mom's work with her in my pajamas because I'm not staying in that house by myself. After she gets off work, we tell my stepdad and he thinks I was dreaming for the poking bit, and the rest was just wind. But now he believes me because they've had other things happen, like pans flying across the kitchen, stuff randomly falling from walls, their new cat freaking out randomly for no reason, just acting scared. That was the only time I was ever scared in my house. Parents still live there. I moved out with my boyfriend after I graduated, but I go there all the time and still haven't gotten a weird vibe since then. If you were to enter the front door of my house and walk straight to the end of the living room, a small door would lead to the upstairs. To the right of it was 2 big wooden doors for my father's bedroom, to the left a chair. The chair faced opposite of my father's room towards the TV. Against the wall left of the front door was a couch that faced the small stair door, which if you laid down using the armrest as a headrest, you could face the TV corner or the door corner. To the right of the TV corner is the dining room and so on. I was on my room at first, and like most nights I would wake up to some noise. This time it came from in my room. It was the floor creaking, like someone was walking on it. I kept my eyes closed, I listened, pretending to sleep. Whatever it was stopped right in front of my face, and I could feel it was there. My breath slowed down. I was struck with fear, and wanted to tell to my brother, whom slept on the top bunk bed, but was too afraid. I peeked open my eye, just the slightest, and saw a white figure in front of me. I closed my eyes again, and just stayed still, hopeful that it would leave me alone. Eventually, I peeked again. It was gone. My fear was dulled but still there. This next part makes the hairs on my entire body stand up. So like in the previous story, I put my blanket over my head to venture off to my father's room. I had a real thing for believing my blanket could protect me. But as soon as I hit the dining room, I feel like there are multiple people standing around me and watching me. I feel scared to the point of tears, but keep walking thinking my blanket will protect me against whatever is in my house. When I get to the bug double wooden doors to his room, they are locked. What am I supposed to do? I can't go back to my room or the dining room. I decide it's best if I lay down on the couch and just stay under my blanket and go to sleep. Finally, I fall asleep. I wake up again. For some reason, I feel like it was 4 a.m, and I instantly look into the top of the TV corner. There she was, the upper half of an elderly lady staring at me. She was somewhat blurry, but her eyes were darker than her pale, halted body. Then I hear it. It speaks to me. Its words were long and slow, feminine and impatient. "Cody, come outside and play with me." I froze for a second and then screamed and threw my blanket over my head and went to sleep. In the morning, I told everyone, and my brother seemed to believe me as soon as I spoke any words of it, he later told me. That night, he saw a white figure next to him staring at him while he pretended to sleep. The first figure I saw was staring at him. Me and my best friend Bella and her little sister and brother went on a trip to their grandparents' house where we spent the night. In the day, the place wasn't so scary. Heading into the backyard, I was shocked to see that their backyard was right next to a cemetery. But I was fascinated at the same time. Her grandpa helped us set up an old tent they used for camping. We both thought this was going to be pretty chill. It soon changed to night, and her and I were still awake watching Jaws. Deciding to go out back to the swing set, we sat down across from each other and started to swing. The small lantern we had sat on the floor rocking. We started talking about random things like school, relationships, and video games. Just normal things teenagers talked about, but then we started talking about ghosts and scary stuffs. Bella used to live in a haunted house with a demon who tried to kill her and her family. She told me stories about it. As she was speaking, I saw something in the cemetery that caught my eyes, and my head drifted towards it. My eyes were wide when I saw this faceless, horned thing looking at us in the darkness. Bella asked me, "What are you looking at?" I refused to take my eyes off of it. I replied, "Do you see it?" Bella turned in the swing and stumbled, falling off the swing. The closest place was the tent we had set up. Grabbing the light, we both bolted to the tent, fumbling to zip up the door. Within the sleeping bags, we both were shaking. My phone was almost dead, but it didn't matter. I started to play a playlist on my phone to try and help us forget. As the music was playing, we could hear the fence rattle like something wanted to climb over it. Shortly, we heard a bull-like huff sound and thud away. The night dreaded on, and we fell asleep to the soft music playing. In the morning, we quickly grabbed our things and headed inside to tell everyone what had happened that night. Her grandparents were skeptical, but her sister and mother knew better.
If you enjoy the video, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to support us, share it to your bestie.